On the 18th of July, the Royal Gibraltar Police held a passing out ceremony at the retrenchment block Windmill Hill. Attended by various dignitaries including His Excellency the Governor, Sir Adrian Johns, the Chief Minister Fabian Picardo, the Minister for Justice Neil Costa, and presided over by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Eddie Yomi. But this was a celebration with a difference. The centre of attention were 4 new recruits called Zulu, Tara, Prince and Major. This celebration marked the return of the RGP's dog section after an absence of 20 years. There were, of course, 4 handlers too. They had also been successful in completing a 13-week course. Police constables Mark Peñalver, Jansen Olivero, Nicole Buckley and Jerry Martinez.
I've been interested in the formation of police dog section since I joined the police in 2008. I did originally propose it for the previous commissioner. I prepared a report, did some research into it, and it's just been picked up by our current commissioner, Mr. Yomi, who's taken it on board and taken it forward.
And what has it meant in the recent past to come to this point of being operational?
It's meant a lot for me personally because it is quite a difficult course. It's 3 months. It's one of the most challenging courses the police service has to offer today. It's not only physically challenging, but it's also mentally challenging and emotionally challenging as well. There's a lot of effort you put into it, and with the dog, the amount of effort you put in is what you get out from the dog, so it's also very rewarding at the end of it.
But what about the practicalities? Where and how are these dogs going to be used operationally? There are 4 main tasks. Protection, not only of its handler, but of property too. The dog may be needed to apprehend a person by means of biting, but only when instructed and promptly disengage and return to the handler on command. Tracking, in all types of areas, both rural and urban, in order to locate a person over a distance. In a person search, the police dog is trained to search for a person over a specific hide, whether open or concealed. The dog is trained to bark on finding the person, but not to defend itself or the handler unless overt aggression is shown. An article search is carried out when there's a possibility of finding articles that carry recent human scent. If the dog finds anything with a scent, its response will be passive, so that the item can be dealt with by the handler. This is such a scenario.
You're in the area, police officer with a dog. Come out now, release the dog. Policía, tengo perro. Está la hora que voy a soltar perro. She's very thorough in her searching, and what she's doing is she's searching for human scent, which is why you can see her putting her nose to the ground and occasionally bringing her nose up as well. If she does come across somebody, she's trained to sit down and bark to let me know that she's actually located somebody. Obviously, as long as that person is not aggressive or a threat to either her or myself, she will just stay down and bark. Up. Tara, come. It's all a game for her. You can see her tail's wagging all the time. It's a game for her, and she's just looking for the prize at the end of it. What we'll do now is, since there's nobody in here, we'll give her a reward once she's finished the search, and I will reward her myself, so she knows that the game's over and she's found a prize. You see, this room, she's paid a lot of interest in this room. It's pretty obvious that people have been sleeping here, so there is a certain element of human scent in this area, which is why she's quite interested in this area. Well, my involvement personally in the helping of the forming of this this section was the initial research which I helped PC Martinez with to help form our policies, which together with our senior management we presented to ensure that all eventualities were covered before we actually had the dogs in Gibraltar themselves.
And what has been your main reference in that research? Well,
we did contact also the UK forces. We used the ACPA manual as well, which are our guidelines for most of the police work that we do in our training, and we found that all of the UK forces that we were in contact with were very helpful in sending over their policies, their documents, to ensure that we implemented one which met the needs for Gibraltar.
The dog was selected by our trainer, a gentleman called Mick Gentili, South Yorkshire Police. The dogs were provided by South Yorkshire Police, and he selected the ones which he thought were best to suit our characters. He did come and meet us a couple of months before the course, and he decided to bring the dogs that we have today.
Okay, and how old were the dogs when they started their training?
They ranged from 12 months old, which is PD Major, he's 15 months now, to PD Zulu, which is 18 months, same as PD Prince, and we also have PD Taurus, 2 years old. This is an area where they commonly smuggle tobacco. It's very hard to detect them because it takes so long to get here from our main highways, from the beaches as well. You have spotters on the Spanish side, spotters on the Gibraltarian side, and what they'll do is they'll run along the beach and they'll either jump the fence or they'll go via the water into the Spanish side. This is done all day. You can see in proximity to the airfield, maybe 30 meters away. It is a big security risk for us, so the dog is a valuable tool for us in that aspect. See how excited they get when they know it's their favourite game. Are you in the wrong place? Police officer with the dog, show yourself now, release the dog. Stop running, release the dog, stop running, release the dog. Good lad.
The more you like dogs, the dogs will sense how much of a dog lover you really are. It's very, very important to have a very strong and good bond with your dog, so you can have confidence while working a police dog. This is not like having a normal pet. It is out there, and you do need to have the dog under very, very proper control, and you need a very strong bond for that.
And what about maintaining the dogs? Who takes care of them, and what sort of maintenance do they need?
Yes, we take care of the dogs ourselves. It's got 4 handlers. We take it in turns to do what we call kennel duties. First thing in the morning when we come in, the kennels have to be all washed out and cleaned out, all the stuff picked up, all the doings of the dogs. We have to do that in the afternoon again, hose it down and get the water out. Then the dogs have to be washed as well every now and then. I joined the force 5 years ago. I started my 5 years. I served on a normal shift. Obviously, I first started as a normal beat officer. Then I worked my way up to shift motorcyclist, and bit by bit I became the patrol car driver, the patrol van driver. I joined extra units like the public support unit. I also became part of the dive team as well. then the opportunity arose for the dog section. I've always had dogs, I've always loved dogs, so I thought it was a perfect job for me.
Do you think it's important to actually have an affinity for dogs, to like them?
Yes, to do this job, I've only been doing it for the past 3.5 months, but to do this job you do have to have a passion for dogs. You can't just like them or accept them. You've got to be prepared to go that extra mile during your working hours and even after your working hours. But, dogs have to be fed. Water has to be changed every day. You've got to make sure that the water is new every day and that they've always got water, because on hot days they do drink quite a bit of water. They are quite big dogs and they do need to be hydrated.
What about their health? Is there a vet on site, or do you use other services?
Yes, we use the local vet. Obviously we have to be on top of reference the collars, the flea tablets and any other tablets that they've got to take if the dog's injured or suffering from any illness.
Now that we've started operationally, officers are detailed for certain kennel duties, but you do find that handlers do like to come in, even on their time off, just to make sure that their dogs are fine and that they are fine, exercise them, take them out for a walk, because it does help with the bonding process as well.
So how do these newcomers to our society need to fit in? On the one hand, they are a professional police asset. They have to provide frontline officers with specialist support for a myriad of situations which at times requires an aggressive response. But the dogs need to interact peacefully, not only with their handlers, but also with the public, which they are now being introduced to. The training that has provided this balance is based on the ACPO Police Dogs Manual of Guidance issued by the UK's Association of Chief Police Officers. All these processes make for a long-term development in all the dog's activities. From general fitness, skill, temperament and interaction with their handler. This is also developed at home with their families as a matter of course. This of course raises the question of post-retirement of the dogs. What happens then?
Well, for her career-wise, my dog PD Tara, we're hoping we will be able to get 7 to 9 years working career out of her, and then I would like to think that I'll be able to take her home when she's ready to retire.
But before all that, there's more work to do. But in the case of Nicole Buckley and her dog, Major, it's going to be slightly different to the others. Major, the youngest of the four, did not qualify as an operational police dog due to an ongoing medical condition.
I'm still yet to find out what it is to have a police dog partner during operational, because unfortunately my dog has not made the course due to an unforeseen illness that he had, and therefore the course was cut short for him, and therefore I'll be receiving another police dog in the not so distant future. Although what I have seen from my dog at a professional level is that the dog has to know when it's playtime and it's work time, and you train the dog to see that. And at the end of the day, it's when he's at home, he learns to lay down, play with you, be very relaxed. As soon as he's in the van, out on a job, he knows what he's doing.
Sit. Seek. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good lad. Good lad. Good lad. Leave. Oi. Yes. Good boy.
Good boy, leave. Yes, good boy, good boy. Leave. Yes, good boy. Leave. Yes, good boy, good boy, good boy. Leave. Good lad, yes. Good boy, good boy.
I joined the Royal Gibraltar Police in 2009, and when the vacancies for police dog handler came out at the end of 2012, I applied. I originally wasn't successful in my first application, although due to unforeseen circumstances, shortly as the course began, another vacancy arose. I applied once again and I was then successful.
Have you always liked dogs?
I've always loved dogs. My lifestyle, my upbringing has always been revolved around animals, especially dogs. So obviously when the opportunity arose to take up this doorway to this career, it was the prime option for me.
And do you think it's absolutely necessary to be fond of dogs to have this job and to do this job successfully?
Definitely. I mean, this job could not be done without not liking animals, especially dogs. I mean, this job is very demanding. It's physically demanding. The dog takes a lot out of you, you know, it needs a lot of exercise. Again, sometimes you need to take out the dog whether it's weather permitting or not. Therefore, you need to be, you know, you need to enjoy spending your time with the animal. Mentally demanding, physically demanding, emotionally demanding. The animal takes it out of you completely. I mean, and at the end of the day, it becomes part of your life and it becomes part of your family. So
it is said that there requires to be a bonding process. And what can you describe what that bonding process entails?
The bonding process is a long process. It's not easy, and again, the word demanding comes into it. For example, my police dog, PD Major, how I've bonded with him, for example, I've spent a lot of time with him, you know. Many on occasion I've taken him home, bonded him, you know, with my family. I've increased the bond with myself. You know, it's all about the affection and the time you have for the animal. I mean, the more time, the more affection you show to the animal, the better bond you're going to have and the quicker that bond's going to grow.
And what's a consequence of a good bonding relationship?
A partner for life. I mean, that the animal will, you know, if you get that right bond with the animal, it's unconditional love. It's a companion forever until obviously the dog retires or the dog ceases in its duty.
Do you think there's a good reaction from the public?
There has been, bearing in mind that we have been in operation for a very short period of time since Monday after we licensed, but we also have done quite a bit of training in Gibraltar as part of our course, our 3-month course. We found that establishments and businesses have been very, very good to us. They've welcomed the idea of having dogs training near their premises or on their premises themselves. So generally the perception from the public has been very, very good.
We have to remember that the police dog is an animal, so that also sets its parameters in terms of your training. You can only train for so long in so many aspects on any given day. We were working 12-hour days. We'd come in at maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We train the dogs in certain aspects that we do, tracking, searching, and we do a bit of bite work, taking into consideration the heat, the locations we're training in, and of course the impact on the general public. It's something that's very new. Something that the public has engaged very well with us, but at the beginning we're not going to put them right out in the public view, so we have to bear in mind in choosing locations to train as well.
There you go.
The public, in the form of children attending the summer sports programme, were invited to meet the dogs recently. The natural attraction between our youngsters and the dogs looks promising for their future relationship. So what about first impressions?
that they're really protective and they're really nice.
What is it that you like about them?
That they protect people and they're really nice.
Okay. Do you have a favourite dog?
This one,
Which one's this?
Tara.
Okay. And do you think they're a good thing to have?
Yes,
Why?
because in case there's like somebody lost, she can just track you and find you.
And do you think it's a good idea to have the dogs in Gibraltar?
Yeah.
Well, they're like special, they're not normal.
They're different, are they?
Yeah.
And do you think it's a good idea to have the dogs in Gibraltar?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because they can do things that we can't do and they can help us when, like with the police, they will help us do the things, like smell things that we can't smell and find things that we can't find.
And do you have a favourite dog?
Yeah, I think my favourite was Tara from the police.
Because they help us like catch criminals and stuff. Because we couldn't do it without the dogs.
And do you have a favourite dog?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
It was one of the Springer Spaniels.
I don't know, just the fact that it's dogs. I like dogs.
You like dogs?
Yeah.
And do you think it's a good idea to have these dogs in Gib?
Yeah.
Why?
Because when the police need the dogs to do stuff like that they can't do, they can do it easily.
Okay. And do you have a favourite dog?
Yeah, my favourite was Tara.
I wonder why. Why?
Because she's like friendly.
The dogs are all trained and all safe around the public. All dogs have passed, obviously except for one. The other 3 dogs are trained up to ACPO standards in UK. The dogs are safe around the public. The dogs are able to find not only just people unlawfully at large. The dogs will also find vulnerable adults and children who might be missing at the time and will not bite or attack the person at the end.
How is that aggression controlled?
Yes, obviously it's first of all it's controlled by the handler, but the dog will not show aggression unless it showed aggression to beforehand. As we saw in our display which we did for the summer camp of the children, we had almost 20 kids around the dogs and patting the dogs and playing with the dogs. So the dogs are not always aggressive, only when they need to and we require the dogs to be. It's just another step we have before using another option. All I got to do is give a warning out to whoever's hiding out there, just in case anybody's hiding out there, that they know that I'm a police officer with a dog, and that the dog is going to go out and search for the person. Police officer with a dog, show yourself, or I shall release the dog. Behind it. Find him, Prince. Find him. Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Sound you alright, no? There.